Welcome to episode number 2 of On the Road, a law enforcement journey. I'm your host, Jeremy Tormla. So first episode kind of gave the purpose and overall goal of what I'm trying to do with this podcast. This is episode number 2 here. I apologize for the video. If you're watching on video using Zoom, so it's not high quality. I'm going to go more on, I guess, some of the application stuff, such as the fitness testing, the oral board, and then I'm going to also talk a little bit about character and reputation because that's kind of tied in with the oral board procedures. So that's going to be the first thing I talk about is the oral board. I know on the first episode, just very vaguely went over some of that stuff. The oral board happens prior to you getting a conditional offer. The whole purpose of the oral board is to do a character assessment on you. So you're going to come across a wide range of questions just to see how you respond to questions in situations such as scenario-based questions. So one thing I learned, and shame on me, I'm 35 right now, so maybe I should have kind of still been aware of this, but dress professionally, not saying I didn't dress professionally. I dressed in dress shoes, dress pants, and then I had a nice polo shirt. I have tattoos, blurred background, but I got tattoos all over my arms, and I didn't wear a long sleeve shirt. I didn't think that would have been an issue, and I'm just been so used to the strength and conditioning realm for the past 8 years that didn't even cross my mind. So when I got the feedback at the end, literally the end was word of advice: make sure next time you wear a long sleeve shirt because tattoos can be distracting. And when you get feedback like that, again, can you take criticism, which I very well respected that. And it's all about looking professional and being on your best. So I just said I will take that advice to heart, and I greatly appreciate the honest feedback for it. So the whole process happened in there, reported to the oral board. There's a couple law enforcement officers from various departments around the area. And the very first question is just like a job interview. And thankfully through this industry, I've been through so many of those. The first one is always, tell us about yourself. And it's pretty vague because you can kind of go off the beaten path a little bit or go in as much detail or less detail as you want. I was comfortable with that. Then we went into scenario type questions, and one of them was kind of just seeing how you react and answer those questions. If you were truthfully, they try to trip you up a little bit or pick apart your answer. Again, that's perfectly fine, which I'm happy about because it all comes to learning on the job and developing officer discretion or whatever policies that each department's going to have. It was a great learning experience. Any criticism, any feedback you get, never ever take it too personally. It's just trying to make sure you understand what you're getting into and what a better answer or a better way of handling a certain situation could have been. Like one of the situations I was asked about is if somebody would have stolen my favorite garden gnome out of my yard, how I would have reacted to that. So that type of stuff, it can be funny to look back on now, but when you're in the moment, because you're trying to be professional and not look like an idiot, it can toss you up just a little bit. I wanted to make sure I didn't go over this. Yeah, so my advice to anybody else going through the academy process or thinking about it would be make sure you practice some of the questions, especially if it's like a job interview. Tell us about yourself. That should come pretty naturally and pretty easily. You don't want to look like an idiot stumbling all over, kind of like what I do here with the uhs and that can really turn some people out or cause people to stop listening to you. So we talked about how this is more a character and assessment. So I pride myself in teaching athletes about character and reputation. Those are two key words I put in all my program manuals. So from the Oxford Languages Dictionary, character, I'm reading it word from there. Character is the mental and moral qualities distinctive to an individual. Reputation is the beliefs or opinions that are generally held about someone or something. So the way I always put it out to example, the athletes that I was training with was characters who you believe you are, and reputation as what others believe you are, or who other people believe you are. So it's a common occurrence if you've never been in a athletic weight room. I mean, high schools are like this now. You have all these sayings, whether it be honor, integrity, courage, selfless service, kind of like what the military was like. But you could see that pretty much in any college or high school weight room setting across the country. And unfortunately, while those are all plastered all over, there's not a big enforcement on actually developing these athletes or people to actually be what those words are. So you'll see a lot of mishaps and stuff that happen around personal conducts and stuff in sports programs and stuff like that. That goes everywhere, not just sports, but that's just something to be worried about. You want your character and reputation to match. So if I believe I'm a great person, that I prioritize my family and all that stuff, but other people, like I displayed that image differently to other people, well, then I'm not being true to myself. And you don't want to do that. You want to be true to yourself and true to who other people are. And that's a big thing. What I love about what's being offered with the law enforcement community. I see that with, again, I bring back my brother, but all of his colleagues, and in my time in the military, it was the same thing. So going on character and reputation, it's not always going to be, you want them to match, but it's not always going to be that way. And I've kind of had this happen to me recently. So I'm going to go off my notes here. So some of the routes that can happen, when you're at a job, not necessarily saying this with law enforcement, but with strength and conditioning community, this is the only reason I can relate into this stuff is if you're asked to do something that goes against your character. And I've had this happen numerous times this past year. Yeah, one of the reasons I'm stepping away from this industry. So if you so choose to, you can help your reputation, but you hurt your own feelings of self-worth. So you look good in the minds of everybody else, but you don't feel you're worthy to yourself because you didn't be true to yourself just because you wanted to please other people. You can also ruin your reputation, but feel good about who you are. So your reputation looks bad to people around you, but you did the right thing by staying true to your values, your beliefs, and who do you think you really are. And then there's the last one here where you can have great reputation and great character. I wasn't going to go into this too much on the previous episode. I'm still not going to list any companies, but what happened to me was going back, I had sometime October, November, was during one of our home game stretches. It was sitting in a conference room with performance staff and coaches, and discussion came up about using some other person who's been heavily involved in the strength and conditioning community for many years, has collected his own database. And the words came out, and I'm not going to say word for word, but it was along the lines of, we're going to gather as much information from this person for free, and then we're going to try to steal their platform. And the big red flag to me was that nobody else in that room had a problem with it. And when I had my final phone call with one of the people involved here, they tried to rationalize it and make me feel like I'm the idiot because this just naturally happens around the country. This is just business, and no, it's not just business. Like, don't sacrifice your own self-worth just to please other people. Never compromise on your principles. That's one of my best mentors ever said. Best advice he ever gave is to do that. Never compromise your principles. Be true to yourself, because in the long run, it's going to come back and be better for you. I mean, at least you can sleep. I know I can go to sleep at night. Before I couldn't. Those first couple nights, and I was kicking myself ahead like this, and this is the one thing I know about what other stuff is going on that I have no idea about. So that was probably the biggest thing that said, I'm done with this. I'm going on to something better. I want to make an impact in my community, serve people, and do it with honor, integrity, and personal courage. And, where all those words actually kind of mean something. So I'll get off that little soapbox here. I don't want to talk about fitness because I'm big into the fitness realm here. I don't know if the screen share is going to work here in a little bit. So after the oral board, the MCOL, again, I'm in Michigan, so it's done through MCOL, it's the Michigan Commission on Law Enforcement Standards. The reading, writing, and the fitness test, I chose to do those on the same day. The reading writing test, you register for online. It's $68, I believe, to do it. I'm going to see if I can do a share screen quick. But if you're listening just on podcast, you're not watching a video, I will do my best to try to describe when I'm sharing here. It's nothing. I mean, you can find this information for yourself. Share screen. Let's see what happens. All right. So I'm just here on the MCOL's webpage here, and I'm already on their reading or writing test here. Yeah, it's $68 to take it. It's within 24 hours after the test, your results will be ready. So the process, how this worked, is literally a whole group of us showed up to the testing facility. You had to lock everything up besides your ID in a locker, and you go through a process of getting scanned in, and you log on the computer, and it is 60 to 90 minutes, depending on how long it takes you, of going through various questions. It's all about reading comprehension, spelling, grammar, and the ability to select clarity when it comes to giving information. Wasn't too hard, passed with an A band. Not sure what really that means, but it's good. So I as long as you know basic English and your grammar is not that of like a, I don't know, like a middle school or elementary kid, you should be fine. But you don't want to go in this career and not be able to write reports and have proper grammar and not know how to spell words. That would just make you look incompetent and not really bode well for your department either. So after that, later in the day, we did the physical fitness test. I'm going to pull it up here. Yeah, the pre-enrollment physical fitness test. I got a story about this. So before you do it, you have to print off a waiver, and the waiver is on the web page. It's right here, the physician's health screening form. I went into my doctor and I gave it to him and talked about, hey, these are the 4 events that I need to be able to do. And I just need you to assess me physically wise to sign off that I am physically capable of doing them, and it's not going to be risking any harm or injury or like health complications to myself. My doctor had me perform all of the tests in his office, minus the half-mile shuttle run. For that, he had me walk around the building. This is during COVID, so I had a mask on. So doing the push-ups and sit-ups and stuff kind of kicked my butt a little bit, but there I am on his hard marble floor, knocking out sit-ups, holding my feet around his chair. And as I'm holding my feet on there, it's lifting the chair up, right? And I'm trying not to laugh because of it. It was quite an experience. I ended up tweaking my elbow, and this was on a Wednesday, and our PT test was on a Friday. So I was just like really worried. I'm just like, I swear to God, if I ended up tweaking my elbow and I can't pass the PT test for the police academy on Friday, I'm going to be so mad. That wasn't the case. All turned out to be well. It's something I can look back on now and kind of laugh about. But physical fitness test, same concept. A group of us show up at the gym. You fill out your paperwork, make sure everything's in line. You sign your waiver and all that stuff, because there's always just a natural risk that something can and may happen to you, and you don't want to hold those liable because you're trying to partake in an event that's necessary to go into the police academy. So the 4 events we got in Michigan here, I touched on in the last podcast, is the vertical jump, push-ups, sit-ups, a minute of push-ups, a minute of sit-ups, and then the half-mile shuttle run. So again, you guys that are watching the video, you can see the different age groups and brackets we got, the minimal goal you need to hit in order to pass. Just to give a synopsis for those that are listening. So males for vertical jump, if you're 18 years of old, you need to be able to at least jump 17 and a half inches. If you're 40 years or older, you need to be able to hit 15. Sit-ups and push-ups around the 30 marker. Females, age group 18, you need to be able to jump 11 inches, and 40 years or older, you need to be able to jump 8 inches. So as a strength and conditioning coach now, this is one thing that's kind of shocked me, and I'm not trying to pick this whole apart. But I do feel like this could be better. Vertical jump, I would like these numbers to be significantly higher, because in a lot of the athletes I train, even in like the high school population, we have some kids that are jumping almost 30 inches. And the vertical jump, why it would be so important, and I'm glad it is actually in this assessment, is because it is a test of lower body power, not lower body strength, because You can have somebody, and I've seen it numerous times in athletic population, somebody who can squat 400, 500 pounds, but they can't jump for crap. I mean, they jump like 14, 15 inches. That's not a test of lower body strength. It's a test of lower body power. Now, if you train explosively, so you're doing a lot of jumping, so plyometrics, or you're doing moderate weightlifting with the intent of moving the weight fast, you're going to see that vertical jump number go up. And why is that important? The more force you can put in the ground at a rapid rate, it means you can run faster. Your ligaments and your tendons are also going to be a little bit more durable because they can handle all that stress. So it's more of a test of lower body power. Push-ups and sit-ups. So push-ups is more of an upper body endurance test. Sit-ups are more an endurance for your hip flexor. It's not a core exercise. It's a hip flexor exercise. And the half-mile shuttle run, I really love this for a law enforcement standpoint because of the change of directions. It's 88 feet apart, run down and back 15 times. You have to slow down and reaccelerate each time you're going around the cone. That adds a huge metabolic effect compared to just straight ahead sprinting or running for 2 miles. Those are the two things I love about the MCOLS fitness test is the vertical jump and the half-mile shuttle run. One thing to help, and I'm going to do an episode on specifically preparing for this for anybody that's of interest, but push-ups, sit-ups, and all that stuff were not an issue for me, maybe because kind of know how to program and training to prepare for this myself. But for the push-ups, we use a little clicker, so when you go down, it hits a buzzer. That's how you know if you went down all the way. And then one of the instructors to be making sure you lock out all the way at the top. I felt like the standards are held accountable to everybody when they do it that way. So that is a great thing I really like about it. Some people could not hit the buzzer every time. So how you train for push-ups matters. I like to go chest all the way to the ground when I'm doing my push-ups. Don't rest there, but as you're going down, that chest hits the ground, you come all the way back. That's going to help you when you go to do your push-ups for the police academy, if that's in your fitness assessment, because you're not going to have to go down as far. So you're going to work at a less range of motion than you're accustomed using to. So you're going to be able to knock out more push-ups. Sit-ups, honestly, I hadn't done a sit-up since I got out of the Army in 2010 until I decided to join the police academy and started going through the process in August. That's the first time I've done a sit-ups in many, many, many years. And I only do them once a week, and that was still enough to be able to pass. Do not max out on push-ups and sit-ups every week. You are going to hurt yourself, especially if you have no physical training experience. We'll get in that later on. But I feel like these are pretty good achievable standards to be able to hit, to be able to get in the academy. The running, you definitely got to get that, because that change of direction, if you're not used to the changing direction consistently, it is going to kick your butt, and you do not want to end up failing something that if you would have practiced it, could have passed. So the way we did it, vertical jump came first. We use the Velcro, so you do the stand feet together, reach up as high as you can. I'm going to see if I think they got a video on here, but I want to go through trying to find it. I'm just going to leave it on here. Oh, we might actually have paper here. Hold on a second. So let's see. And this might, oh, apparently it's not working. So I'll just describe it. So you can either do a pure bilateral stance. What bilateral means is a stand and athletic stance. So the first thing you do is reach up as high as you can. They mark it off, and then you get 3 jumps. And you have a little Velcro, you hold it, you jump up, you stick it to the board, and that's how they measure your vertical jump. You can do it from either an athletic stance, but the foot closest to the wall has to stay stationary. So if I'm using my right hand to jump up and stick it to the wall, I can move my left leg backwards if I want to. And honestly, that is going to help you jump more compared to starting in an athletic position, instead of just starting with your feet parallel together and then squatting down, jumping up. Take your opposing foot, so the foot that's not closest to the wall, step backwards in kind of like a lunge position. Take that foot, step forward. As soon as it plants, jump up as high as you can. You're going to put so much more force into the ground compared to a regular just squat jump. So that's going to help you on the physical fitness test. That's not cheating. It's a way to deliver a lot more power into the ground. After we did the vertical jump, we went into the push-ups. We did, one was going, one was on deck. In our academy, we only have, I think, 8 people. I'm not for sure on that. We'll find out here in a couple of weeks. But you cycle through, so you go through 60 seconds and then you're pretty much sitting waiting for everybody else, because we only had one test proctor except for the run. After the push-ups, we did sit-ups, and I was kind of worried about actually we did sit-ups before the push-ups. So we did vertical jump, we did sit-ups, and we did push-ups. The sit-ups push-ups was I was gonna be worried about, because for the sit-ups, holding someone's feet, I was worried about burning out my triceps and then having to go on and knock out my push-ups and then not have anything to give. So that was a concern of mine. But we were able to use to hold people's feet down. You can stand on their feet or use their knees, which was great, because you can also put more body weight onto the person doing the sit-ups, which helps them so they're not having their feet shift out from underneath them. So vertical jump, after vertical jump, we did sit-ups, and after sit-ups, we did push-ups. After push-ups, we did a half-mile run. For the sit-ups, you were holding feet or you were doing the sit-ups. If not, you were out of the way. So this can be a slow process. I think it was like anywhere from like 5 to 10 minutes in between each assessment, which is not necessarily a downside. It can allow you to fully recover so you can be prepared. That's the one thing that we liked about it. One thing to hit on this too is make sure you do a warm up. They gave time, I think like three minutes before we started to go out and do a warm up. I did that as soon as I got there. I did like a 15-minute warm up, hitting your jogs, lunges, skips, all that stuff to activate your system. Any type of sprints and stuff too. It's going to prime your nervous system so you're ready to go. You're going to perform a lot better if you do that. Let's see. After that, the half-mile shuttle run, we did a few people at a time. The one thing I like about having somebody else count for you is you don't have to worry about losing count. So I think it was every 5, 10, and 12 that they told us. And then if you were lagging behind, they gave a little bit of encouragement of like, you need to step it up, you need to speed it up a little bit. The big mistake I saw some people doing was starting off on a dead sprint. It's 15 down and backs, and if you start off sprinting, by the time you hit your third, fourth one, you are going to burn yourself out and you are going to go slow, and then your time is going to be significantly worse than it would have been if you would have just taken your time the entire duration. So properly prepare for that. Again, I'll do this on another podcast of going over a program that can help prepare anybody for the fitness test, at least here in Michigan, because each state might have some different ones. After the fitness test, so passed everything, then you get your final documents that you have to get signed and turned in. So this is where you go see occupational health doctor, or in my case, I'm a veteran. I went through the VA, so I had to set up appointments individually with hearing, with audiology, optometry, and then my doctor. And you also have a lot of paperwork to fill out, and it's very important to be as honest as possible regarding anything, because you don't want anything to come back and bite you and not disclose of anything. So it doesn't matter how embarrassing it can be, make sure it's disclosed on there. Let's see, physical is fine. You just do your basic stuff, make sure everything's good. The full body physical. Optometry, making sure your vision 20/20 or correctable 20/20, and then your hearing, go through your typical hearing test where they have the earmuffs on. You got to listen for the tones. Didn't have any major issues with any of those. But the big thing is, it's a lot of paperwork to turn in at the end there, just making sure everything's finalized, there's no errors and stuff, because you want to get it in and you want it to be the process to kind of be over, waiting to know that you're going to be accepted, instead of turning in and you didn't look over and something was left undone, or a doctor didn't sign off on something, and then you either missed the academy or you put everything else on the back burner because you didn't do the job of making sure everything was the way it was supposed to be done. Currently, right now, besides I'm doing podcasting to kill time, but right now I'm waiting to do uniform pickup. Again, with all this COVID stuff going on right now, everything has to be kind of ordered in pretty much in advance, so they have time to hopefully get it here before our academy starts. So this consists of all of our uniforms, PT gear, hats, jackets, all that type of stuff. Currently got my boots, got to shine shine those. Thankfully, I have family in the law enforcement community to help make sure I'm good to go. Again, military was a long time ago, but it's still a little bit different. I mean, going through 19, 20 weeks of military police school and boot camp compared to what we got 5 months of the police academy up here. The big thing I want to start doing too is bringing people on board, so you guys aren't just listening to me talk all the time. Next week, hopefully, I'm waiting to hear from clearance. I'm gonna hopefully have my twin brother on. I'm currently gonna try to go up there to do 2 ride-alongs this week, to get to meet everybody again and just hang out. If you're on the edge of going to police academy, I highly suggest you go do a ride along. You can do it with multiple departments. It is especially if you get somebody who shows you around. I mean, if you stuck riding around with somebody who's not gonna do anything, you're not gonna miss out on seeing what actually law enforcement does or what the purpose of it is. My brother is a very proactive individual, so I got to see all sorts of things. And again, going back to the thing that really sells me is the camaraderie around those departments, how close they are together. When there was a call on, I mean, literally everybody was within distance. You saw several cars driving by you, so you always know you're going to have people that you can count on, which is huge. Everybody should want that you know you can trust your colleagues and your peers, that they're going to be there when you need help, and that you have a good familyhood outside of your family. I mean, it's a home away from home, and it's phenomenal to go see that. So if you're unsure, go do a ride along, ask as many questions as you can, try to learn as much as you can so you know what you're getting into. I really loved it. Again, I felt a lot of pride for doing a whole lot of nothing. I was just like, holy cow, this is crazy. This is, I want to say crazy, but it was cool, a cool experience. And watch how efficient everything can be done. And when you're new to things, and I'm probably going to find this out when I'm going to the academy, or if I start working in law enforcement and feel overwhelmed and feel like I don't know anything. But watching those who have the experience on how efficient they are and how involved they are in the community is awesome. I think one of the brighter things too was when I was up in the summertime, just seeing the involvement with all the kids in the community and stuff, just what turning on a light or a siren or handing a kid a sticker does to them. It's a huge thing. So if you're in a position like I am, or I was, you're in a career that you feel like something's constantly missing and there's no stability, there's none of that, this might be something to consider, especially because now with all the demonizing of everybody in this world, if in the words of what my wife and mother-in-law say, if you're not going to change it, then stop complaining about it. So there's a whole lot of people out there who will talk the talk, but they won't walk the walk. And if you really want to make a difference in this community, if you feel like people aren't doing what they should be, go lace up the boots and go do it yourself. Set a standard and get everybody else on board. That's the only way change is ever going to come. And I think a lot of people would be really visually awoken, maybe not just visually, I mean, just purely awoken if they actually went around with law enforcement and saw what happens in the community on a day-to-day basis, and all the stuff that you don't get to see from being on Facebook, Instagram, I mean, media and all that stuff. It can get pretty overwhelming to see the negative stuff all over. Surround yourself with positive people, positive things, give yourself a greater sense of purpose. And I really look forward to this process. I'm probably going to end this right now. Again, I hope to have my brother on next week. And then I will also try to get that episode of going through a couple month program to prepare for the physical fitness test, because contrary to what you might read on bodybuilding.com or something, it is not as simple as just knocking out push-ups, sit-ups and stuff like that. You have to physically prepare, because eventually if you don't prepare yourself and you start knocking out too much volume on your body, you are going to hurt yourself and set yourself back, or you're going to set yourself up to not physically perform to your best when you're doing it for the academy, the physical fitness test. And we want to make sure everybody's good to go for that. If you've been listening or watching, I hope it brought some sort of value to you. I greatly appreciate it. Hope you have a wonderful new year. Hope you had a great Christmas. I sure did. I got to spend it with my family. I think this was the the only holiday in a very long time where I did not have to worry about programming for sports or what my athletes were going to be doing the following day or following week, or having to watch a game and see how people performed or what they need to be doing better. So it was great to spend time with my family. So if that's what you're missing out on, to consider that. Godspeed, and talk to you guys soon.